A few weeks ago, this channel had risen from the ashes, and so too has the Teeling Distillery risen from the ashes. And it is here offering us the single malt, which I will be reviewing for you in just a few moments. It is the Phoenix. Well, today I will be sampling the Teeling single malt. The Teeling Distillery is very young, even if you take into account that it is risen from the ashes. If I get 5 cents for every time I say risen from the ashes in my private life, I'd like to have 25 cents. The Teeling Distillery is very young, was founded in 2015, but prior to that, in 1987, it was the Cooley Distillery. And this is the rising from the ashes that I had alluded to earlier. You can see in the Teeling logo here has a pelican on it. Now it's a phoenix, and that is the symbology of it rising from the ashes, as we are wont to do. Yes, today I will be tasting a miniature. Buying all these drams is not a cheap exercise. So when I see miniatures, I leap at them and grasp at them. Sort of like a housewife at a 2-for-1 sale. This is an Irish whiskey. The distillery itself is in Dublin. And my knowledge of Irish culture is pretty much reduced to the fact that they have very long ballads that don't go anywhere. I had some potatoes. I told my wife to peel them. She cut them up, she put them in the oven, and then she cooked them. And then I ate them. Those potatoes, oh, forevermore potatoes. Enough of that. Let's have a look at the box and see what we're dealing with. So this is part of the Trinity pack, bless you my son. Contains the single grain, the small batch, and the single malt. I will be tasting the single malt today. The Teelings are renowned for their vision in doing things differently, and their whiskies embody the entrepreneurial spirit. Can't nose the cork because as a miniature there is no cork. It's a little screw cap. So obviously this is a single malt. Bottled at 46 ABV, not chill filtered, but I believe this single malt is coloured. It's got a nice straw colouring to it. Interesting about this single malt is the number of barrelings that are contained within. We're talking a lot of different barrels here. We're talking Cab Sav or Cabernet Sauvignon barrels, sherry barrels, port, Madeira, and white Burgundy. So I'm expecting something quite complex and complicated and challenging because that's a lot going on there in this little package. But enough about that. Time to nose it. Oh, wow. Very fruity indeed. Light fruits. I want to say like bananas and melons. Taking on a honey character. It really smacks you in the face. Honey and figs. It's a very strong nose. It's very good. Luck of the Irish. Okay, so there are light fruits in the taste. It tends to turn into a dry fruit, like dried fruits, and quite a bit of oakiness. Mixed with vanilla. Got a very quick hit of caramel on that taste. And there's quite a healthy dose of spices. And if I was to narrow that down, I would say pepper spice. It's a long to medium finish. Probably inching closer to a long finish. And the maltiness really announces itself towards the end, with a lot of sweetness The oakiness is starting to fade by this point. And to me, there's kind of a hint of something almost milk chocolatey to it, but not quite. I'm not sure how to describe it, but I would say on the cusp of being a nice milk chocolate. Very nice. So that is the Teeling single malt. I liked it. I liked it a lot. This is probably the second Teeling I've ever had. I don't think I've had this one before. Very good. Probably my first Irish whiskey that is definitely on a higher level. There's a smoothness there too. There's probably, you know, the Irish triple distill their whiskies, so that was present. Truth be told, I think I liked the nose more than I liked the taste, but I liked the taste, if you know what I mean. Very, very good. If you're curious about Irish whiskey, this would be a good starting point, I think. Very bold flavors, very punchy nose. Very good indeed. I will be sampling the rest of the Trinity at some point later on. This retails in Australia for around about $80, $90, depending on where you're buying it from, obviously. Worth a gander if you're interested in the Irish. Want to take a break from Scotch and bourbon. This could be right up your alley. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews of my humble self blundering my way through the whiskey world, please do subscribe. That helps the channel immensely. And I look forward to tasting another whiskey for you Irish salty dogs very, very soon.